Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again for another unboxing video. Once again, I have a package from Missouri River Soap. It came in the mail a few days ago. I've been waiting for a nice sunny day and the opportunity to make this video, so here we go. Okay, I'm going to try to stay in frame for this because I'm using my tripod and I'm doing a different setup than what I usually do. So let's see what happens. I can already smell the soap inside. It's always like I was sitting at the table a couple of days ago, and when this came in, and I smelled this fragrance, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and I realized the box was on the table, and I'm like, yep, it's coming from the box. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I'm still in frame, and I am. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna open up this baby. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my daughter. Okay, there you go. Nice, snugly packed. Let's open up and see what it looks like inside. Alright, I'm taking out my invoice. And I had called her and asked her to... I had ordered a Luscious Lemon goat milk soap. But I realized, I went through all the bars that I still have yet to use, and realized I had a Luscious Lemon in there. So I emailed Holly the minute I realized that, and asked her to substitute the Luscious Lemon for a Garden Mint and Tea Tree soap. So let's see what we have in here. Now, my daughter said she wanted a cucumber soap. I suggested to Holly in one of my previous videos, and I'll put that previous video in a link at the end of this video, where I asked her to make, I suggested that she make cucumber soap. And this is her cucumber soap. I'm smelling it. You know what? I'm going to save this. I ordered two. One for my daughter, and just in case it was really good, one for me. I'm going to save that for after, because the scents from all these soaps are interfering. So here's a free sample she gave me. Buttermilk and honey. Let's see how this smells. I hate ripping this apart. I should have taken a picture before I even continued with the video, but oh well. Let's see how this is. Not bad. It's not a bad smell. The problem is I've left it in this this box too long. And I think a lot of the scent from the other soaps, I think they've all melded, and I think I need to give them a chance to breathe on their own so that I can get a really good sense of what they smell like. Here is Garden Mint and Tea Tree. I've got this little fruit fly over here, and it's running around like crazy, and I can't grab it. Garden Mint, it does have, you can smell the mint and the tea tree in it. It's a nice fresh soap. Let me put that aside. Let's see, fresh linen. I always wondered what fresh linen smelled like on its own, probably. Let's see. Cocoa butter fragrance. So the fragrance is probably just fresh linen, which isn't which is a pretty good smell. It's not a masculine or feminine smell. It's just a fresh linen smell. All right, mahogany and teakwood. I wasn't sure I wanted to get this one, but let's see. What does it have in it? It says mahogany, teakwood, cedar, and oak combined to create woodsy masculine scent. This has got a it's kind of a unique fragrance. Um, I kind of like this. It's not up there with my top 3, but it's not on the bottom rank either. It's a nice smell. I wouldn't mind using that in the shower. Let's see, and the last thing we have in the box is the Salty Sea Air, oh gosh, wax melts. And this is made with soy wax. Let me smell. I wasn't sure. I live on the coast, so I wanted to get something called Salty Sea Air that I can melt in the house on the days that the windows are closed and the AC is on, like today, and I hope the AC sound. Let me try to direct this microphone towards me even. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. If you noticed, I lost the audio at the end of that last clip. I had touched the mic and it did something to the audio. With my camera on my phone, if I lose the audio, if it just disconnects for a moment and I connect it back in, the audio and the video do not sync up. They become unsynced and the video gets ahead of the audio. So I just wanted to let you know that, because the rest of what I'm about to say is not my initial reaction to the soaps, although I'll explain my initial reactions. I couldn't use that video because the audio and video were not synced up. Then when I'm going to try to, let me make sure this is in focus. I hope it's in focus, because the second video was out of focus for almost half the video. So I'm going to try to do this again. Every time I do it, the video gets shorter and shorter. So I think that benefits you on your end. So let's go forward. Okay, now the Salty Sea Air wax melts. Now wax melts I have an issue with, and that's my asthma and my my sinuses. If I smell, see, I have these right here. Lilac Blossom, which I've used. Green Clover and Aloe, which I've used. Unfortunately, both of these affect my asthma when I burn them. Not burn them, but when I melt them in my melter. And I generally just melt one square at a time. I'm thinking of trying to experiment just to go to half of a square at a time and see if it won't affect, see what happens with my asthma. But when I do melt those, it gives me an asthma. It's not an asthma attack. I wouldn't call it an asthma attack, but it affects my lungs and must inflame something in my lungs, because for 24 to 48 hours after I use that in the house, it's difficult for me to breathe, and I'm constantly taking my asthma medication. So that's why I have to be careful of fragrances, because of my sinuses and because of my asthma. So I'm going to try to experiment and just put half of a square, half of a block into my warmer. And if that works out, great. If not, I'm going to have to get rid of those. I'll send them to my daughter. I'll just do one. I won't do both because I'll get the same results from both because they both affect me the same way. So when I got the Salty Sea Air, I know it has fragrance in it. I'm going to start off with one square and see what happens. If it does affect my asthma, you know, I may not even go down to half a square. I might just ship this off to my daughter in Texas. I'll have to wait for the cooler weather in the fall, but I'll have to ship this off to my daughter in Texas. Although I love the smell. It has a nice smell. It has crisp ozone, salty sea spray, seaweed, weathered driftwood, and water lily. It's really nice. Oh man, I hope I'm able to melt this in the house because this is a really, really nice scent. I recommend it. It's a really nice scent. It's not like this floral scent, but it's like a clean scent. I don't wash with floral soap. That's why I don't purchase floral scented soap from Holly. But I don't mind the house smelling like floral, if that makes any sense. I'm not wearing it, but it's nice to have it in the house because it reminds me of outside, of being outside. Now I received a sample from Holly, and it's buttermilk and honey. I opened it up in my initial review, but you didn't see that because the volume and the video didn't sync up. But that's why it's opened. This I'm having difficulty with. It's like I'm on the borderline with this. This is the third time I'm making this video, and I'm just not getting used to this smell, to this fragrance. It's just, I'm not getting used to it. It's just, I think it's one of those, it might be a miss for me. You know, when you order things online, you go by the description of the item, and it's a hit or miss when it comes to things that have fragrances. Well, it's something that has a taste, because you don't know exactly what you're going to get. If you're at a physical store, you can pick it up and you can smell it and say, you know what, that's not me, and put it down. When you're ordering online, you really can't do that. I wish, I know this is probably impossible, but I wish there was a scratch and sniff that soap makers could send out to repeat customers, where they can scratch and sniff and see what those other items smell like. That would be funny. But this right here, I'm on the fence about. I'm not wild about it. It's probably going to be relegated to the kitchen sink. I may or may not use it. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens with this. It may grow on me. I don't know. But for me, this isn't. This doesn't knock it out of the ballpark. It has olive oil, coconut oil, cocoa butter, castor oil, organic buttermilk, and honey. So that's borderline for me. Here's another one that I had misgivings about initially. That's the Cool Cucumber Soap. Open it, let me see what it looks like. Now what's funny is, let me grab the other one. They're both Cool Cucumber, but I think they're separate batches because, I don't know if you can tell, one has pink speckles in it and the other one does not. So I'm assuming Holly used something in this batch that she maybe ran out of and didn't use in this batch, or maybe something kind of got in here, some kind of sprinkle or something got in there, and it says soap colorant, but it doesn't say which colorants. So it's funny,
It's funny how one has pink speckles and the other one doesn't. So that's what makes me think that it was 2 different batches. Now, that aside, they're nice bars of soap too. Can I show you the front of the soap? They're nice bars of soap. Here's the thing. It says Cool Cucumber on the front. When I initially smelled this bar of soap, it didn't remind me of cucumber. I love cucumber. It's a fresh taste that I like using for more than just salads. I'll put thin slices on my burgers. You know, I'll use them in different ways just to add a light freshness to things. And I smelled it and it didn't seem quite right. So I brought it over to my daughter and had her smell it because she loves cucumber smell. And she wanted me to order a cucumber soap. So that's why I suggested to Holly in one of my past videos, and I'll link to the video at the end of this video so you can see, that she should make maybe a cucumber soap. It would be a nice summer fragrance, clean, you know, light, and something nice to use. I was going to order it just for my daughter, but then I figured if it comes in, I like cucumber so much, if it comes in and I really like the scent, I'm not going to want to give it to her, but I'm going to have to give it to her because I told her I was buying it for her. So what I do is I bought 2, just in case it was really good. Well, my initial response was, it doesn't smell like cucumber. And I guess because my expectations were so high that it would smell like fresh cucumber, I was kind of on the fence and feeling negative about this soap. Not that it wasn't a quality soap, but it's just that the scent didn't meet my expectations. You look at the label and see cucumber, and you expect to smell fresh cucumber. When you slice open a cucumber and you smell it, that's what I was expecting with this, but that's not what I got. So my initial response was a little negative. But the more I smelled it, the more I realized that I liked the fragrance. I was thrown off by the label. Now, if you take this bar of soap and you cover the label, and you smell the soap, it's a nice smelling bar of soap. I wonder what's in it. I wouldn't guess cucumber. I wouldn't. So the soap on its own is a good quality soap and it smells very nice. It's the cucumber label that throws me off. It's the cucumber label that's telling my mind to expect a particular fragrance from this that I'm not getting. So that's I give it a 4 out of 5. That's my only complaint, my only negative feedback about this soap is that my mind is expecting a particular scent from this soap that it's not getting. And so it's like, ooh, that's not right. Cover that up. Your brain no longer thinks it's cucumber because you're not looking at the picture or reading the words. You're just smelling a bar of soap, and it smells nice. So I would give it a 4 out of 5. I'm not going to badmouth the soap because Holly makes good quality soap, and I know that soap is going to be just as good as any other soap that she makes. So I give it a 4 out of 5. I kind of feel bad because I'm the one who suggested that she make a cucumber soap. And it's a good soap. I suggest you order it. It just doesn't smell like cucumber hand cream and cucumber this and cucumber that you get at these specialty stores and stuff. It's not that same kind of cucumber smell. I don't know if it's more of a cucumber rind kind of smell or what, because I've never smelt that on its own. But, you know, take it for what it's worth. I don't give it a thumbs down at all. I give it a thumbs up. So, the Garden Mint and Tea Tree. This reminds me of being around an old building made out of chiseled stone that's been around for maybe 50 years, 100 years. You know, I live in part of the country where, you know, I'm living in a tenement building that's been here for over 100 years. So I live in part of the country that has old buildings and old stone buildings. And sometimes you get this earthy smell on the outside of those buildings close to the ground. And that's what this smells like. So you can smell the tea tree and the garden mint. And together they give you that earthy smell. I'd have to use this in the shower or at the sink and then smell my hands to really get a good grasp of what this smells like. But this isn't bad. It's not bad at all. Now, fresh linen. Smells like fresh linen. I've never smelled fresh linen before, and I checked on the back, and that's the only thing that's in here is fresh linen. There's no other notes of anything in here. It just says reminiscent of freshly laundered linens dried in the country air. So that's all it has in it. And it's made with organic goat's milk. And the only reason why it's not in a brown box is because the fragrance, there's a fragrance in here and not an essential oil. Because it's made with organic goat's milk. If there had been essential oils in here, it would have been in a brown box. But it's a nice clean smell. It's not, it's one of those smells where, you know, like if you buy Dial soap or whatever, it's made for the whole family. It's not made just for women or men or kids. And this is the same kind of smell. It's a fresh smell, and it's not specifically for men or women. Either sex can use this. It smells really good. Oh, let me take it out of the box for you. I didn't take that other one out of the box, did I? It's a nice two-tone soap. If it looks a little dull, it's because I've had my fingers all over it, because this is the third time I've made this video. And it's got a nice blue speckles on top. And another thing I like about Holly soaps, let me open up this one for you. I showed you the cucumber. This is the Garden Mint and Tea Tree. Just hope I stay in focus. It's got the nice green in there, the natural colorant. This is indigo. I think it's supposed to be blue, but it turned out to be gray. I guess the saponification kind of changed the color of the... it almost looks like it's dark purple, almost. But it's like a blackish, grayish, purplish color. I know that soap makers like to use the word, and you know what? I've wanted to say this for a long time. But I didn't want to preach to the people who make soaps. But I hate the word discolor. I don't like it when soap makers say, I cut the soap, and as you can see, the soap's already beginning to discolor around the edges. I don't like that. The word discolor is has a negative connotation. Something's starting to discolor, which means it's something that you don't want happening. It's discoloring. I think if soapers begin using the word "it's starting to age well," as you can see, the color is changing, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done, with its saponification and with its drying out process, that would be great. Using the word aging or using the word maturing, like you would use for a wine matures. You know, you wouldn't say, oh yeah, well, this wine is starting to discolor and it's starting to get old. You wouldn't use those words. You'd say that it's aging and that it's mellowing, and that's the only thing that gets me when I'm watching soap videos is when people use the word discolor. Because it's not actually, I know that fragrance makers will say that it discolors your soap, and that's okay, because it does discolor your soap. But I think when you're trying to sell something, you don't want to use the word discolor. You probably want to use the word aging or maturing, which has a more positive thing. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox now. But let's get on to mahogany teak wood. Now, mahogany teak wood, I had a positive response when I smelled it, and I still have a positive response. And as you can see, it's aged very well. It's matured very well. And it's basically all one color, although it is still slightly darker around the edges because those are the areas that matured first. You know, cheese, it ages as well. It doesn't discolor or it doesn't get hard. It ages. I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, this, what's it called? Mahogany teak wood. Mahogany teak wood, it says mahogany, teak wood, cedar, and oak combined to create a woodsy masculine scent. Now, I think it's the teak wood that's, oh gosh, there's, as I've said in the videos that you won't see because they got messed up, there's just something in this soap that I can't grasp. There is a note that I think is sweet, and I think it's the teak wood. It's got to be the teak wood. I don't think it's the mahogany or the cedar or the oak. It must be the teak wood. I've got nothing to compare it to, so I don't know what teak wood actually smells like. But the sweet note that I'm picking up, it almost reminds me of like cinnamon applesauce or something. There's something, it's almost like a dream, and you're trying to recall a dream, and you can just barely grasp that dream. You've got it in your head, but you can't describe it because it's all fuzzy. That's what I'm getting from this particular note in this soap. I can almost grasp what it is, but I can't actually pinpoint what it is. So I'm thinking it's the teak wood, even though I've never smelled it before. Or maybe it's just a combination of the fragrances that is I don't know, I can't explain it. Somebody please let me know if teak wood has almost a sweet fragrance to it. Or if any of you have ordered this soap from MoRiverSoap.com, which there'll be a link to in the description, please let me know what you think of this. There's some kind of note in there that I really, really like. It gives it like, it almost gives it like the finishing note. It's like a great smelling bar, but there's that little note in there that just kind of finishes it off. And I really, really like it. So I think that's everything. I did the wax melts. I did the soaps. Yeah, I guess I'm done. Oh, I just wanted to make a suggestion. I don't know if I already put this in the video. If I did, please forgive me for repeating it. But when you have soap at the sink or in the shower and you're down to a nub, even smaller than this, when you're down to something like this size or smaller, what I like to do is I get my new bar of soap out, I wet it in the shower or at the sink, and I wet this one as well. And I kind of like, roll them around in my hands and get them all sudsed up and everything. And then I'll rinse them off real quick, and then I'll stick them together. And I'll press them together. And then I'll put it aside, and I'll let it dry. And what it does is that soapiness, that wet soapiness, becomes like a cement, or like a glue, and it just glues it all together into one bar of soap. Then what I do is the little chunky piece here that was left over, I'll use that to wash myself with, and until it's completely gone. And then I've got my new bar soap to use. So there's a little hint right there. And in case I didn't say it, I don't know if I did or not, put something like this in the freezer for about 5 minutes and you can pop the wax disc out easily and toss it away so you can put some a new wax melt in there. So I guess that's it for now. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Oh, before I leave, I want to thank Holly and her family. And the reason why I say and her family is because she may be the top soap slinger, but I know that her children and her husband help her in labeling, packaging, boxing, and shipping these products out. So I not only want to thank Holly, but I want to thank her family too, because you do a great job. I know you put a lot of love and effort into it, and it really shows, and I'm thankful, and I'm sure all your other customers are thankful as well and appreciate it as well. Okay, so please give this video a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video. And if you do subscribe, please click the notification bell so that every time I post a video, you'll be notified. Thank you for staying with me through the whole video, and I hope to see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.